What's going on, guys? It's K-Dog's Kennel coming back at you this morning with another episode of Do You Remember? Sorry, I love the thumbnail for this video. I can't help but laugh at it. But here we go, guys. Episode 5. And in this episode, we're going to go back to 1994 at the Survivor Series. And we are going to recant Mr. Bob Backlund winning the WWF Championship from Bret Hart in the submission match that took place. Now, as always with this series, we gotta go back in time a little bit and discuss how the hell this match came about. So, Bob Backlund was a WWF champion, WWF, whatever the hell you want to call it. Back in, I believe it was the late 70s, he beat Superstar Billy Graham to win the WWF Championship at the time. Now, Backlund would hold on to this title for a little over, I think it was over 5 years, 4 or 5 years that Backlund would hold on to the belt. And Backlund would drop the belt in December of 83 to the Iron Sheik. In a little bit of a controversial fashion, Backlund was in the camel clutch, refused to submit, but Arnold Skolin, who was Backlund's manager at that time, threw in a towel, which in wrestling, you throw in a towel, that's basically, you're telling the referee, like, you know, the guy you're representing quits. I'm quitting for him, per se. And so Backlund would drop the title to the Iron Sheik. So when Backlund, I think he was gone for a little bit. He ended up coming back in the early 90s. He came back in, I know he wrestled some in 93, maybe late 92 into 93. And so finally, what would end up happening is in July of 1994, I think it was like the end of July or close to the end of July, in 1994, they started hyping up a match. I think it was either on Superstars or Wrestling Challenge, one of those, where it was going to be Bret Hart defending the WWF title against, Bob Backlund, basically old generation, new generation clash, per se. And they would show these vignettes leading up to this match about, Backlund training, and, Backlund was determined he was going to win back the title that essentially he never, quote unquote, lost, because he never, he never was pinned. He never submitted, per se. So they have this. It was a decent match. Bret Hart ultimately wins the match, and then afterwards, I think Backlund thought he had initially won. I haven't seen the match. I'm going to be blatantly honest with you guys. I've never actually seen that particular match they had, but it comes up to where Backlund goes to help Hart up. And then Backlund just snaps. Backlund, it's like somebody flipped a switch and he flips the fuck out. And he starts, and this is when Backlund would debut his new crossface chicken wing submission maneuver. And, the reason that he snapped, at that point, Backlund was fixated on being the one to dethrone Bret Hart. It came to, like, Backlund would go into this almost like a trance, if you will. And then, he'd put the chicken wing on, and then it's like somebody would like flip his switch off and he'd go back to normal, and he'd start looking at his hands like, what have I done? Kind of thing. It was almost like Backlund was almost becoming a schizophrenic, or he was almost suffering from schizophrenia on camera, per se. Ultimately, it would come to a, Arnold Skolin would confront Bob Backlund, and he would get put in the crossface chicken wing. But Backlund's whole demeanor at this point was, he wanted a rematch, but he wanted it in a submission match with a unique stipulation where the only way, now traditionally in submission matches, obviously only way they can end is via submission. One of the two wrestlers says, that's not an I quit match, but one of the two wrestlers submits, and that's the end of it. However, this one had a unique vibe to it, whereas Bret and Backlund would have cornermen. The British Bulldog would represent Bret Hart and have a pink and black towel. Owen Hart would represent Bob Backlund with a white towel. And Backlund wanted this matchup to be the only way it could end is by one of the cornermen throwing in a towel, much like Arnold Skolin did to end his title match with the Iron Sheik that cost him the title. So the match was set for Survivor Series. And of course, this is also in the midst of the Hart feud, the Hart brother feud that went on throughout 1994. And so we get to the match, and this match is like really, 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 really long. This is like a 35, 40-minute match. And about, I don't know, I'd say about half of it is Bret Hart in this chicken wing. But so it gets to the point in the match, of course, Bulldog and Owen are jawing at each other from, across the ring on the outside. Owen is flat out, I under no circumstances am I going to be the Arnold Skolin in this picture. I will not throw in this towel under no circumstances, no matter even if Bob wants the towel thrown in, I'm not doing it. He's determined he's not going to wrong Mr. Backlund. So we get into the match, and it goes on and goes on and it goes on. Bret ends up having Backlund in the sharpshooter, and then Owen and Bulldog are running around the ring or whatever. Owen runs in the ring, drops Bret with a Bulldog, breaking the hold. And then Bulldog starts chasing Owen again, and he hits the steps head first and basically knocks himself out. So the pink and black towel goes flying. So as Bret gets back up, Backlund puts on the crossface chicken wing. And again, this goes on, guys, I kid you not, for about, I would say a good probably 15, 20 minutes. Is Bret laying, like Backlund and Bret laying in the ring with Bret in this fucking submission hold. So, of course, Bret and Owen's parents, Stu and Helen, are in the front row. And Owen, seeing that Bret is in pain, seeing that Bret is in this submission hold, he starts to, from a blind perspective, starts having a conscience. He starts getting upset, talking about how that's his brother. He never wanted it to come to this. And, he can't, because he's representing Bob Backlund, he can't throw in the towel because obviously, like Bulldog couldn't have thrown Backlund's towel in and, won the match for Bret. Owen can't do that for Backlund. So Owen basically systematically breaks down his own mother. And Stu can see right through this. Stu can see Owen's full of shit, telling Helen, no, you're not, no. Grabs the towel, the pink and black towel. No, you're not doing this. You're not going to cost our son the championship. Owen's full of shit, more or less. So Owen goes as far as to get down on his knees and beg his mom, because that's my brother. I never wanted to go to this. That's my brother. Like basically playing on his mom's emotions. And I laugh. I like back then it was heartbreaking, but 39-year-old me can, because I literally just watched this match. And like I said, it's so funny just to see Owen, pleading to his mom, please throw in the towel. I can't stand to see my brother hurting. So anyway, despite Stu's best efforts, Helen throws in the towel and ends the match. Backlund wins the title. It was 70, or I'm sorry, it was 83. So 11 years after Backlund, loses the title in controversial fashion, he wins the title back in just as equal controversy. Owen Hart, the bell sounds, Backlund releases the hold. Of course, Backlund's looking at his hands. Owen runs in the ring, grabs the pink and black towel, and sprints to the back, holding the towel up. It's at that point you realize Owen duped his parents, especially his mother. Basically, he didn't give two shits about Bret. His whole purpose was to cost Bret the title, and that's exactly what he did. I have said, actually, I did a review on SummerSlam 1994. You can check that out on the channel. I feel in my heart of hearts, no pun intended, that Owen should have won the cage match that they had at SummerSlam. Owen should have won the cage match to win the title And this honestly should have been Bret and Owen, with Bret regaining the title from Owen. The whole Bob Backlund, Bret Hart thing, the whole match concept, the whole idea of it. I understand the whole why Backlund wanted the rematch, because Backlund snapped, he turned heel, etc., etc. But it comes down to, this should have been like on a Raw, like the Backlund, not the title change. That just Bret and Backlund, babyface Bret, heel Backlund, Bret going over, building momentum, if you will, towards Survivor Series, and then Bret challenging Owen and beating Owen to regain the championship at Survivor Series. That's how it should have went down. But there's also a little caveat to this. Backlund won the title to be a placeholder, because 3 days after the Survivor Series, Backlund would drop the title to Diesel. And that's when Diesel got launched, because Diesel would hold the belt all the way till actually next year's Survivor Series. Diesel would hold the belt and drop the title to Bret at Survivor Series in 1995. But again, just as thinking as a fan, you got Bret and Owen in this long running feud. I can't help but think Owen should have won the title in the cage at SummerSlam. Have Jim Neidhart interfere, kind of like he maybe have like the post match, what happened when Neidhart and Bull and everybody got involved. Have that during the match, and in the chaos and confusion, Owen escapes the cage, wins the belt. What was wrong with that? And then again, have Bret beat Owen at Survivor. That would have made more sense. But I understand why they did it, because it wasn't going to be a matter of Bret Hart holding the belt, and then 3 days later, it wouldn't have been Diesel beating Bret in 8 seconds, or not, whatever the hell. I think it was 8 seconds. Diesel beat Backlund. And then obviously after the match, Todd Pettengill interviews Owen Hart and basically says, this whole thing seems like it was a setup. No shit, Sherlock. Owen basically just lauds Bob Backlund. He's like, puts down Bret. Bret's a loser, and you're no longer the champion. Mr. Backlund is, and like I said, it was well done, well orchestrated, because obviously Backlund wasn't going to win the title on his own per se, but yeah, the fact that we had to go through that, and like I said, the match length it's like a 35-40 minute match. The length of the match is ridiculous. But, like I said, it is what it is. But there you go, guys. Bob Backlund winning the title at Survivor Series. One of the most shocking things I've ever seen in pro wrestling. But there you go, guys. We got our picks video up. We got our Do You Remember video up for today. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this title change at Survivor Series 94. As always, when it comes to these Do You Remembers, if there is a topic you'd like me to reminisce about, please put it in the comments. I welcome all suggestions, because like I said, I can't be the only one thinking of things. So by all means, let me know in the comments, guys, and I will dredge some stuff up, because like I said, I do this series without notes. My whole thing is I want to remember this stuff based on memory. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off here, and I'm going to grab something to eat. And yeah, love you guys very much, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.